Good morning, everyone. It's July 25, 2023. Market is about to open, and we're just open right now. And game plan today is to wait on the sideline and see what the market is going to give us today. So, looking for a couple of stocks here. Just turning on my pre-market data here. Did not get to put in my level. So NEO is a gap up by 5.5%. So these are my levels from before when I was trading NEO before. Let's see, pre-market high in NEO is 12.38 and low at 11.73. So it looks like NEO is about to do an opening range breakout, but see, just broke that level 12.38. So NEO is doing pretty good. Okay, else is there Verizon or VZ. VZ just had a rejection. It's now in between the opening. It's now in between the high of the pre-market and the low of pre-market. MM is up by 3.5%. This one has a volume of less than 5 million, so not the best. GE had a bull flag right here. It is a good pop right here. Had a consolidation and then have that pop. It's now testing the high of the pre-market. Let's see what it's gonna do in the pre-market high. It had a rejection at that pre-market high. Baba is almost flat here. Pre-market low, pre-market high at 98, 97.56 is the pre-market low. And let's look at SPY. SPY just tested yesterday's closing price and had a rejection, and now we are at that yesterday's closing price. SPY had been consolidating for the past 3 days. I wouldn't be surprised if this one just consolidate. We are an inside bar with the SPY. Tesla, rejection right here at the 9 EMA. Looking at the daily, spot is nice. Spot had a huge move for a couple of days and then a rejection right here. Just putting the level pre-market low and pre-market high at 161.5. So for the gap down, I'm watching GM. GM looks like it's just consolidating. Pre-market low here is at 37.54 with a pre-market high of 40.57. So no trades yet for me. Disney is just consolidating. If you look at the daily with Disney, it is just consolidating right there. Pre-market low with a pre-market high. This one is an outlier, so I'll put it at 86. So that is Disney and RTX. RTX is the good gap down here. You have the consolidation and then a big gap here. This one did form an opening range breakdown. Pre-market high is at 97.15. What I'm looking at RTX is a 9 EMA reversal. If it retested the 9 EMA and we get to see weakness at 9 EMA, then that is a good place to short this. It's of course in short selling restriction, so know that you will only get fill on an uptick. This one is really very weak. Look at this one, just had a rejection again at that VWAP. But I would like to retest the high of the day, which is at 85, and then that would be a good short there. RTX, and then we have AMC. AMC is flat, nothing is happening here. TMF, bunch of algos. Nvidia is very strong, had that nice almost kind of doji yesterday, and then now just have that nice gap. So still just finishing up my levels here. Still have time to do levels just because I'm not planning to do any opening range breakout anyway. What I noticed lately is there's not a lot of setup for an opening range breakout or breakdown. So now we're 7 minutes in, and at least we get to see where the trend is. All right, Baba just lost that level. Neo, now I'm looking at the daily here, which one has the most potential here. Neo just had a reversal there. Verizon, is very strong. Picking up the volume here, we're now almost 500,000. The first time we saw this one was still 500,000. So now we're almost close to 1 million volume. So now that we're almost close to 1 million volume, just putting up a level here as well. GE, very strong here. GE broke the pre-market high. Too early for any reversal yet. Spot had that rejection in the VWAP. GM. What is SPY doing? SPY is just playing along yesterday's closing price. Disney, lots of consolidation right here at the daily. Don't want that. GM, looks like it found the bottom at 37 with GM. This one is the weakest of them all. GE. GE just formed this inverted hammer in the 5 minutes. Now that I have my levels, let me turn off my pre and my post market data. Looking at the daily with GE, is this the all-time high? GE have never been in this price for a while. GE looking kind of weak right now. But let's see the volume. The volume is not being supported by this inverted hammer. So still no trades. If GE loses VWAP, that can be a potential short, but look at the volume right here. It is still acting strong. It is still having that VWAP and the 9 EMA as a support. This is the one that I was initially watching, wanted to enter short when it's close to 9 EMA. It just went without me. So that's the thing with trade. You're supposed to not chase any of it. Wait for your setup. So GE or GM now is about to test the level of this candlestick. So now that those are the stocks that I'm watching, let me share now my main screen so you get to see what I'm watching. Okay, so GM, I'm looking for a 9 EMA. I'm shorting GM here. Small position. This one is a 9 EMA. Stop loss right here is at 38.4. Just a small position. Do have 38 here. So that's very bearish for GM. So thinking of adding to this position, 38.1110. Looking at the tape here. Stop loss here is at 38.38. 38.39, give it 0.01. 8.39. Volume started to pick up here. If this one broke 38.13, that's the time to add to this position. Looking at SPY, SPY just bounced off of yesterday's closing price. This is once this move goes below 38.15, once I see that print right here at the tape, then that is the time to add to this position. Right now, I only have 400 shares here. Stop loss is 38.39. Entry is at 38.11. Looking at that price, 38.15 or 16 to add to this position. Looking at the volume, 38.18, almost there. 12, okay, added to my position here with GM. Since I added to my position, I am gonna update my stop loss, 38.40. Stop loss now is at 38.40. This one is the 9 EMA textbook setup here. Added to my position. Since I added, I am gonna update my stop loss again. This one is already working in my favor. Took some partial, moving my stop loss here lower than my break even. So this one, I could have gotten more if I added to my position. But at the same time, I did not expect it to go that quick. But you see this very big wick right here. If you zoom it, now it's just testing that level. If you zoom this very big wick, it'll give you this 9 EMA textbook setup where it went past through the 9 EMA. At the 9 EMA, we got the rejection there. So now what I'm thinking is another strategy here is to add to the position once it goes to this. I do have my stop loss here as well, 38.04, which is just a little above the 9 EMA, which looks like it's gonna stop me out. Hands is on the trigger as well. If it goes 37.96, that's the place to add. SPY is heading higher though. So that stopped me out. I did not really get to make a lot there just because I was, I added to my position there. But if I find a rejection again here, then I will add to my position or I will open another position to the short. So it had a rejection at 38.12. I wanted to short this one closer to 38.12. Look at the volume right here. It did pick up. $38.03. Looking at the tape here, struggling at 38.04 and 3. So I re-entered short at GM. Stop loss here is still at this level. Waiting to add to this position, added to my position in GM. We did not have a lot of volume when it was pushing up. There is some buyer sitting right there. So stop loss here is still 38.39, the one that we have initially. Volume are picking up here. Can't add to this position now because adding to this position means I would have to tighten my stop loss, and tightening my stop loss would not be the logical thing to do now because expect that those candlestick will have some consolidation. NIO just had a big rejection. This is gonna test this level again. 38.14. Big order sitting here. That's very bearish. 38. Lots of order at 38. So next destination is 38 here. So at this point, I am just gonna keep my initial position, although I really wanted to add, but I wanted to manage my risk. So while I'm waiting for that, let's see what NIO is doing. NIO had a big rejection there at almost 12.84 and then rejected. SPY just found a support at 453. Bunch of consolidation right here. GE. NVE also had a rejection. I don't like that it opened where this one closes, which is at the 5 minutes. This is looking bullish here. Let's see if our thesis is being supported by volume bar. Yeah, volume is dying here compared to the initial volume, so expect some consolidation there to happen. If we find an anomaly here, then that would be a good place to add. But right now, we're still above the VWAP, so yeah, no time to be aggressive yet on this trade. We are now below the 9 EMA, which is what I'm waiting for. Still a bunch of orders sitting here at the ask though, so that's bullish there. Expect some consolidation. Spot bouncing again at the VWAP. This is the one that's good to short. But short selling restriction, you're only going to be filled at the uptick. This is the reason why I did not want to add, because if I add to my position, seeing that there's a bunch of orders sitting at the ask, which is very bullish, if I add, then that means I have to lower down my stop loss, and lowering it down means I will just get stop out easily as well if the thesis is there. So why, waste a trade? Yeah, we're just heading to that bunch of consolidation here. This is getting interesting because we are now heading above the VWAP, and above the VWAP would give us a good entry to the short here. Do we have the volume to support it? This can be a good VWAP rejection play to the short. $148.60. Let's look at the spread. Spread here is 20 cents. So those are the things that you have to take into consideration when, if you're going to enter this trade, you're already going to be down by 20 cents. Big spread. So yeah, that doesn't look too good for me considering that big spread. So NEO had a rejection, went to touch the NEO is actually looking bullish here, touches the 9 EMA. If NEO shows us some signs of strength here, looking at the daily though, it still has a room to go up to 12.05. 12.05 is this level right here, the R3. So we'll be interested if we find some support, and yeah, we'll take NEO to the long. So still waiting for this one to go at least 1205, and let's see if it gives us a support at 1205, because that is the high of this wick right here. So still is heading lower. This one is the rejection that I was waiting for. I just did not want to enter because of the huge spread. But yeah, that was the rejection that I was waiting for. So 1205. Let's see what NIO is gonna do at 1205. GM looks like it's just consolidating. Nine EMA here. 9 EMA acting as a support at the looks like GM is heading higher. So still monitoring GM there. Bunch of orders sitting here. Did we find a support at 12.12? Heading low, just started a long position at NIO. It went higher than this previous body of this candlestick. Stop loss here is just the low of the day, which is 12.11. $12.11 is the stop loss. Let's look at our GM trade. GM is just consolidating. NIO. Let's see if this is a good place to add. Added to my NIO trade here. Since I added, I would have to update my stop loss 12.10. NIO is reaching some consolidation there and some resistance. What's happening with GM? Just bunch of consolidation. So you can actually tell already if you're gonna be going through a consolidation. Just because we're lacking volume, that's the time that this consolidation was about to take place, and that's why I started to look for a different trade, because it's just the market just opened, everything is hot, and if you're just gonna be looking at one stock at this moment, then you're gonna be missing out. So NIO about to test this support right here, or this this resistance 12.37. So hands is on the trigger to take some partial at that level. So of course I added to the position, which is totally fine. Supposed to take partial, but okay. So it just took some partial there with NIO. So it was just like a break even there. So I still have 1875 position with NIO. Big rejection there. Time to, let's see here what GM is doing. GM is just still consolidating. So stop loss with NIO is at 12.11. Just wanted to give some room with NIO. Okay. Giving some room with NIO. So just having it just below this moving average here. Wow, big rejection there. Yeah, so that stopped me out. Look at what SPY did. SPY had big rejection right there, and that's what's happening with the rest of the stocks. So NIO thesis here is still valid. 12.23. Wanted to re-enter this one at 12.23. Big orders here at 12.20 though. Look at the imbalance here. at the bid, so that's very bearish. So let's not be in front of these orders. 12.20 is the next destination here. And at that 12.20, which is this, that could be a good potential to long NIO. So next destination, we just touched 12, about to touch 12.20, about to get this order filled. And then now we do have this equal 12 point big order sitting right here, 12.19. Looking at SPY just had a wick as well. Yeah, lots of orders right here. So this is the one that will save you from getting chopped. Look at the bid right here, bunch of orders. So that means we still have room for this to go down. $12.20 is still sitting there. Yeah, still very weak. So looking for an easier trade here. GM is just not doing anything at all here. Just flat. There's just no follow through with NIO. NIO is gonna have another rejection right here at 12.32. This is gonna touch again 12.20. You have orders sitting here. So once this touched that 12.20 again, then I will be interested to long NIO. But I need to see that rejection again. So here is the rejection that I was waiting for. 12.20. About to fill that orders in. Looking at SPY. 12.20 sitting there. Still, there's a big wall sitting there for NIO. That's a big volume right there. Still has some room for this to go down. 12.20 is the next. So let's see, GM. Will GM stop me out here? Okay, back in NIO. 12.20. The level that I was waiting for. Another test of this level. We just broke that level. That's because we did not get any support from the volume. 12.19, 18, looking at the tape. SPY found the support as well. So hands is on the trigger to long NIO. 12.19. Because now we don't have that big wall sitting there at 12.20. So entering long at NIO. Stop loss here is that 12.11. So 10 cents. Added to my position. Stop loss 12.10. So stop loss is the low of the day for NIO. See what GM did. GM tested the high of the day and then had a rejection there. Stop loss there is at 38.4. Let's see if that's gonna stop me out. Baba, one of the Chinese stocks, is very weak as well. So that doesn't look good because I am in NIO, one of the Chinese stocks. Let's see if this is gonna test the low of the day. I do have my stop loss at 12.10. Waiting for NIO to find the support. So 12.10. Very close to getting stop out at NIO. We are now, yeah, this one is equal. Your bid and your ask spread is equal, so expect some consolidation there. SPY is having a rejection, so that's not good either because I'm long NIO. It's our volume looking like. GM is about to test the high of the day again, which is 38.34. Rejection at 12.18. Let's see if this is about to stop me out. Did not get the fill here. So sometimes that happens just because my order is 38.39. There's probably not a lot of seller at that price, 38.39. So I did not get the fill, but it looked like it had a rejection at 38.4, which is pretty much close to where my stop loss is. And this one now is, let's see if it's gonna stop me out here. SPY is consolidating at the VWAP, very close to getting stop out here at GM. 38.39. And yeah, I'm out at GM. GM was not filling my order, so once you move your stop loss, you do it manually, then it will automatically fill that share because you're not waiting to get filled, you're doing a marketable orders. So GM stopped me out. GM is very strong. Let's see what Disney is doing. Disney tested the high of the day and had a rejection there. Verizon. Verizon had a nice move The only thing that I don't like about Verizon is, look at this, it's 34.94 all the way to 33.73. So just like a dollar move. Yeah, do not have that patience to wait that long for a dollar move. So this is the anomaly right here. Look at how big the volume bar is. Um, look at how big the candlestick is compared to the volume bar. Volume bar is here. This candlestick that is so huge is like almost, considering this wick right here, it's almost the same as this. But comparing the candlestick here is huge, low volume bar. So that's our anomaly there. So strategy here is, at the sign of weakness, this is the time to reshort this stock. So just waiting for that sign of weakness, and then we'll be reshorting this. Looks like NIO found the bottom. You got the surge of buyers right there with NIO. Could have been a good place to add, but I'm waiting for a rejection here in GM for the short. Now, if you look at the body of the daily, it is now at the body of this candlestick. Initially, that wick of this candlestick is acting as a strong ceiling or resistance. Now it's the body. So 38.53. See here if we find a rejection somewhere. Profit takers right there. This scan, bunch of orders sitting at 38.60. Now we get to see some sellers coming in. Now, are those short sellers? Not necessarily. Those can just be profit takers, because those who got the move from this level or all the way to VWAP are now taking some partials. So waiting for more confirmation that this is getting out of steam to short this. So let's see what the pre-market looks like. Pre-market has a huge rejection at the 40.57. GE is looking as a good 9 EMA here. Look at this one, could have entered at 114.92. Yeah, good 9 EMA setup with GM. Ticker symbols today are confusing. You have GM, you have GE. So GE is the 9 EMA setup here, and you have the GM where I'm waiting for a sign of weakness for a short. What's happening with our volume bar? Rejection right there, 38.71. What level is that? You do have a resistance right there, 38.75, the daily. he formed the perfect 9 EMA. Nvidia had a good rejection right here. BABA looks like it had found a bottom right here, 95.82. But look at the daily. Daily still has some room to go lower. We have tested that 38.73. This is the second test. So very interesting on what it's gonna do at 38.73. It can just bust through that 38.73 or can have a rejection. Look at the volume bar right here. Volume bar is dying. I need more lowering of the volume bar so I can start shorting this. But right now you don't want to go in front of this train. So just looking at NIO. NIO is just taking its time, but we do have a stop loss there, so we'll just let it do what it wants to do for now. So that's the first rejection. We did have that confirmation because of this volume bar that's dying. Hence is on the trigger to add to or to open a position to the short. If it goes below 38.68, 38.69 right now. 69. Okay, shorting this. First position there. 67. Added to my position to GM. Stop loss right here is 38.80. Now it's not going to be a V reversal yet. It is still going to be challenging those levels. So expect those consolidation there. It will even be, it might test even my stop loss here. But with all the trades, it's always just getting the higher probability of where the stock might go next. This one looks like over extended just the 5 minutes. It had been, look at how far it is from the VWAP, higher high, higher low. Our first signal here that it is getting out of steam was when it's pushing up. This one is pushing down. So that's the reason why I shorted it there. I wanted to be closer to 38.58 so I can add, but it did not give me the chance to add there. It just had that rejection. Could have been better if I was able to add at 38.60. Now it's too far for the add, so just gonna give it some time. So trading is not different from cooking. Right now you're just waiting it to cook. 38.40 is the next destination here. Now we did had that surge of volume picking up. Expect a support right there. That is a moving average. So expect a support. We do have 38.40. That is making this very bearish right now. So next destination is 38.40. Volume started to pick up. We are now testing the low of this candlestick. I want this one to touch again 38.55 so I can add to this position to the short. NIO now is working nicely, about to test the VWAP. Let's take some partial in NIO. Then time to move stop loss in NEO higher than my break even. So even if this one stopped me out, I'm still green at NEO. Okay, this one, I want this one to pop to the 9 EMA so I can add to my short. So it's not going to 9 EMA, so it's not giving me the chance to add. But since I'm not adding, I'm just gonna let this one slide. I'm gonna let this one move. It still has some room to go here. Look at how clear all this things is. So we still have some room for this to go. Has a potential to retest VWAP here. Big support at 38.28. Yo is about to test the VWAP. Just being patient here, waiting for this one to moving my stop loss in NEO. Already is working. Testing again the support 38.27. I need that to break it, and the next support is going to be 38.21. So this could have been a good trade if I did not mess it up here. So we still have a bunch of orders sitting right here. 38.15 is the next destination here. Gonna take some partial here. Took some partial, first partial. Moving my stop loss lower than my break even. Now it's time to trail the stop. Trailing my stop loss here. If this one pop, I'll be out of this trade. Very close. Okay, so I'm out of that trade. So that one was just a break-even trade just because I messed up on, where was that? This. So, but was able to capture that move. NEO is working nicely, so just trailing my stop loss here. So now it's time to look for an easier trade. Verizon eventually found the bottom. Oh, this is the one that I was looking at. BABA found the bottom right here and just tested that yesterday's closing price. GE, the one that formed this very nice 9 EMA. Beautiful. Okay, so NEO, trailing my stop. This one still has some room. It just stopped me out, but still going down. Let's see, Disney had, look at this one. It's, you can even put a rectangle here, and it's just flat. Those are the things that you don't want to touch. Spot is very weak. This one is flat. It's just going in VWAP. This one stopped me out. It's still working in my favor. Wow, could have been a good one and done trade there. But yeah, just because it got me red initially, so that messed up my psychology there. NEO, I want this NEO to test VWAP. Once it tests VWAP, then we're up for the races here. GM was... Alright, time to look for an easier trade. Tesla found support right here at 268. Just trying to not think about GM. This one was the gap up today, but now just heading to the VWAP. NEO having that resistance close to the VWAP. Bunch of orders right here though, although it is kind of balanced, so expect some consolidation there. Verizon, very sneaky. Found the support here and slowly grinding up. AMD, look at how ugly AMD looks like. All this bunch of wicks. So AMD for me doesn't look tradable today. This one still is heading lower. Okay, NEO just had a rejection at that, so I'm out NEO. Fair enough. Trying to see whether NEO now is a short. Miss my entry there. Yeah, that could have been a good flip to the short with NEO, but yeah, miss my entry. Because SPY looks like it's stopping, so NEO could have been a good short. But let's look for an easier trade. Nvidia, bunch of consolidation, looking weak. NEO is a good short. I missed that. GE getting very interesting. What I want to see with GE is to test the high of the day again, and let's see what it will do with that high of day. NEO would have a good short right there. GM was, look at how clean this candlestick is. Although one can argue that this wick right here, yeah, that's we don't like wick, because large wick means you're gonna be risking a lot if you have your stop loss below or above the wick. So let's see what NEO is gonna give us. There's no easy trades right now because a bunch of them are just consolidating. So just watching. BFRG is a float. Wow, a very low float here. This one is only a float of 1 million. 1 million. So imagine a big pocketed trader who can buy 500,000 shares, who decides to just dump their shares all of a sudden. This is the time that those traders can just blow up their account just because of that being a low float one. You can make good money out of this low float one, but you can bust your trading capital so easily as well. Disney, looking at Disney here, although this is kind of flat, this is a range bound trade. I just don't like, yeah, Disney is a float of 1.8 billion, so large institution is the one trading this. Wow, big rejection at NEO here. This could have been a good flip there. So although NEO is looking a bit interesting here, just because we have a big candlestick, small volume bar here, rejection together with a SPY. I would like to re-enter NEO when it's close to 12.20. 12.20, that was my initial entry here. I could ride NEO again to the long, even if this one is just a range bound trade, but at least 12.20 and then with 12.40 target price, that still is a 20 cents move. But if it's just gonna be above 12.20, that's not even gonna give me a 20 cents move, not even worth it to trade it at this level. This is the consolidation there with NEO. So let's look for a different trade. This one are just profit takers. So now we're at the middle of this big dump, so there's no trade to take there. Risk is higher. GE. So we had that 117 at GE. Big volume here. This is another large cap stocks. So trying to see whether we're topping. But this one still has room to go up to 117 to test the high of the day. So NEO, I will only consider NEO if it gives me a good entry. If this goes to 12.20, then I will long it at 12.20 with a target of 12.40, at least a 20 cents move. SPY just broke the VWAP, and that makes it interesting because once the SPY have that erratic move, the bunch of the stocks that we're trading that mostly copies how the SPY moves can have those erratic moves, and those can have a good can give us a good opportunity if you know what you're doing. But if not, then you just let it come down a bit before entering, especially if you are a newbie. Okay, so NEO, this is the rejection that I was waiting for. I wanted to be close to 12.20. Testing now 12.25. What I don't like about NEO though is look at the volume bar here. Volume bar is dying, so we're heading to that time of the day as well of bunch of consolidation. 12.24. GE rejection here. Looking at higher time frame. Higher time frame has a good rejection. Look at this one. GM could have been the one and done trade. Wow. What a great move. So looking for an easier trade. Wow, this is such a great move here. GE, been heading to this consolidation for a while. GE is up by 5.9%. We did had a gap up right here. It went all the way to 118. Bunch of sellers push this down with the volume bar that's dying when it's pushing up. One pushed up here. GE is starting to become very interesting to the short here. So if we find another rejection here, will be willing to short this one with a stop loss at 117.21. Looking at level 2 here. GM is still heading lower. NEO just went to 12.24. I want this one to test again, 117.18. Let's see what it will do at 117.18. NEO is just 12.23 now. Okay, very interesting here. Look at the volume bar here. Not supported by the move. Hands is on the trigger to short GE. $117. Wow. Big volume. $117.94 is the high of the day. Look at this big volume here. So bulls and bears are still fighting this hand, but this is a very good spot to watch just because it's either gonna break this 117.20. There's a lot of bulls pushing this up. This is gonna test that high of the day. Okay, so still not ready for the short. So 12.20, it did touch 12.20. That is the entry that I was waiting for. But now we don't have any volume to support my thesis, so I'm not gonna enter that. This is the beautiful move that I was waiting for GM. Did not get to capture the whole move. MM now is touch and had developed that double top 110.38. This is the last time it tested that level was back in March 8 of this year. March 8, yeah. So NEO had a rejection. Volume bar is depleting there. We still have some room to test 117.96. Looking at MM is still testing that high of the day. GE is still waiting for signs of reversal with GE. So volume did, we got the volume here. Float here is 551 or 500 million, so not a low float. This one. Okay, shorting GE here. Just a small position. Willing to add to this. 116. For this one, just have to give it some room. So yeah, small position to the short. Added to my position here. Stop loss is 117.52, or the high of this week, 117. 166.57. Neo tested the 12.19, but candlestick is just not as clean anymore. That's why this is the short that I wanted to as well. Let's see if this is gonna let me short it. No, I have my capital in GE. So GE here, working nicely. Waiting for this one to break 116.65. MM here. This is just gonna take a while. This Tesla found a support at 266. This is a good short here. GE is already working. Just have to give it some time. Geez, just consolidating here. Let's see what GM did at the VWAP. GM found the support at the VWAP. Disney. Yeah, this is the reason why I don't like Disney. Just look at the daily. It's just consolidating there. Tesla just found a support there. So this one is a good long at 267.49. Stop loss is 266. It just is below the wick. This one is a good short here at this level. This is getting weak now, Shorting just a small position with A little bit late. The good entry here could have been at 110.06. So stop loss here is the high of the day. Since a bit late to the party, I am not going to be adding to the position because I do have a wider stop, 110.56. see what G is doing to my trade. What's that? G is slowly grinding up here. Neo is just weak. These are just bunch of algos. Baba is a good reversal. As well as Tesla. Good reversal here. This is just gonna be consolidating for a while. Disney. What is AI doing today? As well as there's not a lot of green trades. AI and Rivian. Rivian has been consolidating here for how many days? So not an easy trade for Rivian. Disney, we see a first sign of weakness here. Retesting that 86. It's actually a good place to short, but I do have 2 open position already. Tesla could have been a good reversal here, but look at the daily. Daily is still very weak. NIO had found a bottom here. Retested at 12.18. Disney. Alibaba starting to become strong here. I did not like that volume is dying when it's pushing up though. Disney, I'm still waiting for signs of weakness with Disney. Yeah, Disney is a potential for short here. So hands is on the trigger to short Disney. Not a plus setup, but with everything that's consolidating, there's not really a lot of A plus setup today. So we'll just do a scalp trade as well as a range bound trade. Stop loss here, 86.15. Added to my position. It's a very slow day today. Look at GM, still heading lower. Geez, just taking its time. Disney, just bunch of consolidation here. MM. Let's see if MM is gonna stop me out here. I have my stop loss. Disney big volume bar here. Let's see if this is gonna stop me out. Very close to getting stopped out. SPY is having a pullback. And I got stopped out. Oh, that's a big volume that just came. So what happens there is, this is all the stop loss is at this level. So the pop that you get to see is all those stop loss getting filled. So that's why there's a pop there. Disney did not fill me, but my stop loss is there, so I'm out Disney as well. So Disney looks like it just stopped me out, but now it's heading lower. Re-entering Disney to the short. Added to my position. So what happened with Disney is it just stopped me out, but look at the volume bar here. So yeah, all the stop loss got hit. So there's a surge of position that got filled, but otherwise it's looking very weak. So new stop loss here is 86.20. Re-entering here to the short. Small position. Tight stop loss 110.93. added to my position. Just updating the stop loss here since I added to my position. GE slowly grinding up here. Tesla here. Still daily looks weak. NIO have been testing this support for a while, 12.17, but bunch of big volume bar here, so that support can be broken, and this one can test the low of the day, 1209. Let's see if this is gonna stop me out. Stop loss is right there. Move that I was waiting for. It's just taking its time. Very close to getting stop out. And yep, stop out at GE. Let's see what it did. It's just stopped me out, but now surge of sellers are there. Re-entering GE here. Had a support at 110.22. What's happening with Disney? See if Disney's gonna stop me out here. Very close to getting stop out at Disney. $86.2 is my stop loss at Disney. Had a rejection at 86.19. GE now. This is the move that I was waiting for. What is SPY doing? Had a huge drop at GE. But I had a loss right here because of this move. So just waiting for good big rejection. Now we're at 9 EMA. SPY, it looks like it has just had a big dump right there with GE. So this is the support that we found. It's 116.75. Still has some room to go here. We're about to lose that 9 EMA. $116.67. Got a support there, 116.7. $116.8. This one is not even with the SPY because SPY is just heading. This one is just profit takers. So for both GE and EM or triple M, it's just having that profit takers. So with the M, this one still has some room to go. Took some partial with M. Now it's time to move the stop loss lower than my break even. Just drilling my stop here with M, triple M. GEE found a support at 116.71. Stop loss lower than my break even here. Just lowering down my stop loss. Huge dump right here with GE. About to get stop out with triple M, but this one still has room to go down. Stop loss is 110.14. Disney, let's see if this is gonna stop me out there. Expect some consolidation to happen here. Just lowering down my stop loss here. Stop me out. Disney stop me out as well. Lowering down my stop loss here. Did not get to partial at 116.69 when it had that massive dump. Disney here. Disney now have reached that R3 or S3. Thinking of shorting Disney here, but looking at this one have that move. Retesting again that support. Disney, looking at Disney, thinking of reshorting Disney. GE, I just did not get another partial there. Disney's looking a short here. Entering small position at Disney. Stop loss is added to my position at Disney. Stop loss is 86.23.